Memories of you, they're pulling me down. Echoes in my mind, can't leave them behind. Swamp donkey, monkey mouth, got me losing sleep. I'm haunted by your name. Caught up in this storm, my heart can't be tamed. Feeling trapped in time, reliving the pain. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Feeling heartache, we're breaking. Your love got me crying. Swamp donkey, monkey mouth. Feeling heartache, we're breaking. Your love got me crying. Swamp donkey, monkey mouth. Feeling heartache, we're breaking. Your love got me crying. Shadows fall, memories fade, but I can't let go. Your words are haunting, your lies cut so deep. Swamp donkey, monkey mouth. You played me like a fool, girl, now I'm all alone. Heart torn, soul on fire, love turned to stone. Swamp donkey, monkey mouth.
Oh, there it is. We are live. This is your boy Jack Bravo at the Righteous Edge. We are coming to you again to bring to you some viral videos that really speak to the culture of what's going on from a masculine Christian man's perspective. Let's get right into this. I saw this video and I saw it on Twitter, and it really rubbed me the wrong way for a lot of different reasons. One of the different reasons that I did not like it was simply because it comes off as a godly take. It comes off as having a Christian perspective when really it's the opposite. And I'll explain why. It's a video from a Christian channel. And I don't want to deny their Christianity because it wasn't so bad or so anti-Christian message that you could say they're not Christian, but I just think they have the wrong take on this. And it was a video where a young lady is explaining how men should deal with sexual rejection, which is a big problem because there's a high percentage of marriage. It varies every time I look at the stats. There's a high percentages of marriage where people claim to be Christian, where there is absolutely no sexual contact going on at all. And the men typically are the ones unsatisfied with this. And the women, the Christian women, especially the ones on this Christian channel, are trying to explain what a man should do and what's really going on here. So, Mr. Producer, we can play that video.
Not tonight. I'm so tired.
Can I be honest? I feel like I've gotten rejected a lot lately.
I get it, but to be honest, it's hard for me to want intimacy when I don't feel connected to you.
I'm confused. Our daughter was off school, so we had all this time together as a family. We had dinners, we went to the playgrounds, we even went to stores together. How could we not be connected?
Because just being around each other doesn't mean I feel connected. Women, especially the longer they've been married, fall into what's called a responsive desire type. This simply means that their wanting intimacy is linked to how connected they feel in the relationship. This can be confusing to many partners who relate connection to the amount of time spent together or the absence of conflict. Like, we haven't been arguing, so we should be good. But this isn't how women experience connection. Intimacy can be an area of the relationship that creates connection or disconnection. If you want to understand more about responsive versus spontaneous desire, read the caption.
Now, is that the end of the video, Mr. Producer? Okay. Now, I don't want to come down too hard on this lady because I think she's trying to come from a place of explaining why women are just not on the same page as their husbands. And she thinks she's giving godly advice here. I believe that's what she believes, okay? So, when I watched the video, I had to put aside all the anger and righteous indignation and say, you know what? Perhaps these people are just confused and they think they're doing something right. What would you say, Mr. Producer, is a summary of that video? Did you get to hear all of it?
Yeah, it was like she didn't feel any kind of connection to her husband, and he felt like he was being ignored.
Right.
Yeah.
And she gave some good reasons
Mm-hmm.
why women are just not on the same page, how they think differently. She gave a little bit of word salad as to
Spontaneous stuff. Yeah.
yeah, like how women love differently than men.
Right.
Let me tell y'all a secret, ladies. If any ladies ever watch this, all that stuff is just a convoluted excuse to men. We don't care. We don't care. And you say we should care. We should, right? You would say, you know what? A man should care about what his wife feels. He shouldn't look at her as like a piece of meat. And I would say, that kind of sounds funny. When you ask your husband to fix the toilet, oh, you should care how I feel about it. You shouldn't just treat me like a slave. I'm not a slave to just do work. When you ask your husband to cut the grass, how come he hasn't cut the grass? I'm not a slave. Why don't you ask me what I feel? I don't really feel like doing it right now. You know, I know it's my duty. I know what I signed up to do. I know I even said I would do it. I know I said I would take care of the home, and that was one of the reasons why you married me. But I just don't feel like it right now. Here's the thing. Men, we're different than women. We don't always feel the urgency of cutting the grass. We don't always feel the urgency of getting the car worked on. We don't always feel the urgency of going to work. But you know what? I know you understand my feelings, so maybe this week you can pay the bills by yourself. Does that sound like a good idea? Oh, that doesn't make sense. It sounds like an excuse to not do what I'm supposed to do, doesn't it? That's how men feel. Because no matter how you word it, no matter how you trying to figure it out to make us understand why you're not doing your wifely duties, the reality is you're not doing your wifely duties. I'm a man who doesn't have a problem in this department. I have a very good marriage. But I'm telling you, I get the anger, secondhand anger, from a lot of men whose wives will try to explain away why they don't have any duties and he has all the duties. That makes no sense to men. It's not going to work no matter how many excuses you give. You have a duty. Now you can say, oh, that's crazy. In today's day and age, a woman has a right to say no. Okay. Let's run the logic all the way. Then a man has the right to say no to working. Then a man has a right to say no to providing. Then a man has a right to say no to hearing your stories. Then a man has a right to say no to hearing all your problems and trying to listen instead of give solutions. And then a man, see, it doesn't work like that, does it? Because each one has a duty. The Bible talks about a man should love his wife more than he does himself. And we only talk about that side. We only act and attribute duties towards the husband. But then when it comes towards the wife, we act like, well, if she doesn't feel it, then I guess she doesn't feel it. And here's the thing. It's not just me saying this. Men resonate with me, and it's a big problem. And I'm going to get to why this is a big problem in the spiritual world, in the church as well. And the church has not been addressing this correctly. Let's read, Mr. Producer, some of the comments under the videos, if we could pull them up so they could see some of them at least.
Here we go. So some of the comments that I've seen here, let's just choose a couple here.
You can just read whatever
okay.
ones are good. I'll pull some up as well.
Okay. She used the word partner instead of spouse. She has no idea what she's talking about. Guys just do a thing, take charge and surprise her. If she says, I don't want to say we're doing it anyways, make it something you want to do. Another one here. Women claim to be the better communicators, but often aren't. But I also know for most women that connection they desire is being touched and intimate outside of sex. It's easy to feel like just a hold to your husband when they only come near you to get laid. My wife says this all the time. Can someone give me the damn cheat code to crack this mystery of what connection is to women? It shouldn't be this hard.
Oh my goodness. Here, let me read a few
Yeah.
that I saw. Because it just shows that there's a disagreement amongst men and women, even in the comment sections of the video. Let me see if I can pull it up here. This one says, F that. You took vows to do your wifely duties or you're out. Birth rates and marriages are falling because of this nonsense. I agree. I may not agree with how he said it, but I agree with there's a duty you have. You don't get to just say no. Like, this is the liberal way of looking. And this is where people take this liberal theology and try to put it above the Bible. Everything adheres to women's feelings nowadays. Everything. You have to make her feel comfortable, make her feel welcome. But you don't see that with the men. It's as if men's feelings don't matter at all. That's not how it should be.
I've got one more too. This
Go
this
ahead.
one this one. It's my favorite word. Yeah, I'm gonna call shenanigans here. This is another woke message guised in faith for women to justify them not fulfilling their duty as a partner.
Yep.
Notice the power dynamic here. Don't fall for this woke BS. Next, this woman will tell you to take her last name. Hard pass.
Men are not falling for this anymore because what it really is, here, this comment explains it too. And this is from a woman. This isn't dealing with it. This is just a bitch crying and giving the excuses. F your man or he will go somewhere else. That's very crude, but at the same time, it's like, what bothers me about this is not that women aren't giving it up. It doesn't bother me that sometimes women might not be in the mood. I think that's perfectly a legitimate thing to say. You know what? I'm feeling really sick right now, or I have a cold or something like that. But it's not legitimate to say that all the time. And it's not legitimate that men do feel neglected in their own marriage. It's not legitimate that he has to fulfill all his duties, but your duties are optional. That's not a legitimate thing, and that's not biblical marriage. Biblical marriage is we're going to read some of these passages, but I'll just give you a summary. That your body does no longer belong to you. This is why men, when you get so engaged in pornography that you cannot sexually satisfy your wife, you are in the wrong. This is why women, when you'll read a romance novel or look at your little shows and get all tingly inside, but you cannot please your husband, you are in the wrong. And let me say, most people won't say this, but I will. This is mostly a selfishness in the woman's side. Men, we're pretty easy to please when it comes to this regard. But when it comes to the women's side, I've mentored men and I've talked to married men, and they honestly do not know where to go because their wife holds all the cards. She holds it and dangle it over him and try to get him to do anything that he says that might anger her. Well, sex is off the table for the next week. That's wrong. And that's wrong because you're not the leader of this relationship, for one. And second of all, your body does not belong to you. And third of all, God told you not to do that. God says not to do that. And too many churches don't teach that because they're scared of women. And they need to stop being cowards and actually preach on this more. You need to preach on this more. Here's another thing. Were you gonna say something, Mr. Producer?
Just checking my microphone here, just to make sure.
Okay.
Yeah, just checking levels here again. We're good.
Here's the problem. Because of feminism, women have way too much power in marriage. That does not mean that men, I'm telling you to go to your wife and force yourself on her. That's crazy. What I'm saying is, as a sin issue, it should be dealt with spiritually. You need to confront your wife. You need to tell her, listen, if we're not on the same page, let's get on the same page. And if there's something you're not telling me, you're not communicating with me, something that you refuse to communicate because of whatever you got going on, that's a sin issue, because the two are supposed to be one flesh. We're not supposed to have separate ways of communication. We're supposed to be on the same page. Now, say your wife is saying, you know what? Your breath stinks. And that throws me out the mood. Guess what? As a man, you should listen to your wife and be like, you know what? Let me brush my teeth. Let me try to do whatever it takes so that I'm not just repulsing this woman, right? But then in the same way, and I'm going to say this, and it's going to be very controversial. Whether his breath stinks, whether you're attracted to him or not, you still have a duty. Doesn't matter. And guess what? That goes to both sides. I'm just pushing it on the women because women typically are the ones who use it as a power and control thing. But let me tell you this as a man. When your wife gets pregnant and she gains weight, and if she's in the mood more than you because of hormones or whatever, you are supposed to do your husbandly duties. You need to make sure your wife is satisfied. Now, I know a lot of Christians don't like talking about this, and that's part of the problem. Part of the problem, y'all feel so uncomfortable talking about this that Satan comes in and tells people, give them a little romance novel, give them the little adult films, and they go and fulfill themselves that way and so ashamed to talk about. But the problem is that they never get to the source of the issue. I'm telling you, the Bible does talk about this issue, and because we have not engaged with it correctly, feminist indoctrination, feminist ideology like this video has come in and told Christians, oh, you just have to bow down to your wife. She just thinks differently than you. She has no duties. Try and try again. And then after that, try again. Maybe try doing the dishes. Maybe try being her personal slave. Then she'll give up the goods. No. You need to be a strong man. You need to talk to your wife, communicate with her, and you need to let her know this is an issue. This is an issue. This is a problem. We need to be on the same page. If you're not going to communicate with me, then guess what? This is going to become a sin issue that I might have to bring before the church because I don't know what your issue is. You're not communicating it with me. And we got married under the presumption that the two will become one flesh. You're not holding up to your duties. I'm holding up to mine. That is not a wrong thing to say as a man. Now, let's read or go to effective purpose. I found him on YouTube this week, and he is insanely good. His video is so, man, what's the word? It cuts through a lot of the reasoning and goes through the history. I recommend every man watch his video series on why feminism has affected the church. He's a Christian. He goes through this series, and he goes through basically like the medieval times all the way up to now. He talks about dowries. He talks about what led us to being where we are now. American history. Why do we have such a disengagement with marriage today? What is leading to the divorce rates? Why do men feel so unsatisfied? How did the church let men down? He goes through all of this, and I pretty much agree with him, man. There's little minute things that I wouldn't mind discussing on it, but for the most part, he's spot on in these videos. Can we play some of that, Mr. Producer?
And in line without any consequences. Oh yeah, and our favorite lie from the 60s, that feelings matter more than truth, is starting to have another effect. See, people now believe that if you upset someone, you are harming them. As you can probably guess though, this really only goes one way. Since everyone feels like men bear all this guilt for oppressing women forever, people feel like it's morally justified to treat men like their feelings don't matter. It's justice, we're balancing the scales. While that same guilt makes everyone feel like women deserve a sort of emotional reparations, so women's feelings should be validated no matter what they are. So, nearly all men now unconsciously accept the premise that if a woman is upset, then her feeling is unquestionably correct. So it's a man's duty to anticipate and avoid making a woman upset. And if she does get upset, then he must appease that feeling and make it go away, no matter what it takes. In practice, that means that women's feelings are now the final authority in the home. This also creates a spiral, which makes women even less emotionally resilient because no one can challenge them anymore. Even pastors who regularly pummel men from the pulpit about all the things they get wrong can't say anything negative about a woman or women's behavior. So you put all this together, women now have all of the legal, social, and emotional leverage in the home and in every institution, including the church. And all this leverage is so powerful because it's now baked into our modern sense of morality. It feels morally wrong for anyone
Here,
to
Mr.
challenge,
Producer, can you
rebuke, or exert
tell
authority
me
over
what
women,
you-
even if the situation calls for it.
what you
Since
got from
nobody
that part
wants
of
to
the video?
feel like a bad person.
Did you get to hear it?
I heard some of it, yeah. What I was able to hear of it, it was just like, you know, just giving in, it's like, just listen, just be weak is kind of what I got out of it.
Yeah, I think
I kind of got weakness out of that.
what he talks about, and he does a great job in pointing
Yeah.
this out, is how society has encouraged women to be
Right.
enemies to men.
And that how their feelings trump all.
Yes,
Yeah. Mhm.
their feelings, and we've taught this in our society, how a woman's feelings, even in the church, dictate everything. This is why you will hear several different preachers talk about what a husband should do, and servant leadership, and bowing down to your wife, and making sure she's safe and healthy and protected, and how you should listen to your wife as a spiritual voice, and this and this and that. And then you will never hear a lesson just on submission. Rarely will you hear that. You got to go to a very special church like my church to hear a lesson to women on how they should submit to their husband as unto the Lord. Rarely will you hear that, because women and their feelings dictate everything in Western society. If a woman's feelings are hurt, they will label you evil. They will criticize your tone. They will shut you down. They will come for your channel. They will get them and their other friends to bombard you. They will try to get you to lose your job. Even Christian women, they do not like when you correct them, because their feelings dictate everything. And here's the problem, and I'm going to say it because people ain't going to say it if I don't say it. As a man, one of the reasons why you are called to lead your home is a godly design, so that your wife's feelings don't dictate what goes on in your house. Not saying women are evil, not even saying that her having these feelings are evil. But she's not to lead with her feelings. You are supposed to lead with the godly leadership and the godly logic that God established in you. You are not supposed to sit here and be like, your wife feelings. We're going to see a video later. It's one of the last things we're going to cover today, of a cowardly man letting his wife run things with his child. And I couldn't think of any worse way to raise a boy. Having your wife's feelings dictate everything from how he dresses, to what he listens to what he watches. The reason why we have such a bombardance of left-wing ideology today, with the trans movement and LGBTQ and the feminist stuff being taught in schools, and the boys being told to sit down and take more drugs to make them subservient, is because women and their feelings have dictated everything. Now, some idiot out there is going to say, you're saying you sound like you hate women. You're an idiot if you think that. I love my wife. I love my mom. I love my sister a little bit. Here's the issue. Everything can become something destructive when taken out of his rightful place. If I take a man out of leadership and make him subservient, make him weak, tell him to put on a dress, it becomes something corrupted, something degenerate, something that corroded what things should be. Same thing with women. They have been taken out of their place. They're no longer nurturing. They're the biggest murderers in our society. They should not be. A woman in her place, if you read the Proverbs, what a wise woman can be, the most beautiful thing on earth. Sometimes when I look at my wife and I see how she nurtures the kids when they're sick, when I see how she teaches them and goes out of her way, when I see how she sacrifices herself for the betterments of the home, when I see how she comes behind me and gets me everything I need before I even know I needed it, it is some of the most beautiful things you can ever behold as a man, and I feel sorry that some men don't get to experience it. But outside of its rightful place, a woman can be the most destructive, damaging unit that you've ever had to deal with, because they're ran by their emotions, and left unchecked, they will destroy society. And that's what's being done. And it's being done on the backs of weak men. Weak men have allowed things to be where they are, and therefore women are running amok. And if you wonder why women are so out of control, there's far too many men who are married who don't say anything. They rather shut up and go along to get along. Let's play the other part of that video, Mr. Producer. It's the second one. And also why he's getting that up. This is a video by Effective Purpose on YouTube. He has really good video series. I've been binging all of his videos, and his videos are excellent. If you get a chance, go watch it. It is the 2:26:18 mark. Yeah, my bad. That's 26:18. Yeah.
For most people, because it turns out most women are not attracted to men who treat them like friends. But thanks to the blue pill, no one can figure out why. This debacle speaks to a larger problem that's taken root. Remember, how women feel matters more than reality, and women hold all the levers, so all dating or relationship advice has to make women feel good before Christians will accept and teach it. In other words, it has to be mom approved. That means Christian dating gurus can't teach boys the truth about how women behave because it makes them feel bad. So dating is tanked. Moving on, it's in the 90s that white knights begin to spawn out of the walls. These are men who view themselves as noble warriors who will slay any dragon to protect any damsel in distress that they encounter. In practice, they're really just defending women from anything that upsets them emotionally, even if the monster that's offending her is the truth. Now, some do this simply because it makes them feel like a hero. Some because they still crave women's approval, and they need to defend women's honor to keep that romantic fantasy propped up. Others do it because they think it'll make women want them. See, feminism has spread the perception among men that if they fight for whatever women ask, that the girl each white knight has a crush on will reward him with undying affection and swoon into his arms like a cheap airport romance novel. So to a lot of naive men, this looks like...
Alright, so here's the thing. And this is something that he pointed out, and he even points out more in other videos. Christian men have lost the art of what it means to be a man. So therefore, they're trying to instruct the younger generation how to attract women so that they can be happily married, but they're so out of touch with reality that the younger generation is like, dude, this is not working. When you tell me to go up to a girl and hand her a flower and be nice, and she says, ugh, get out of my face, and still takes the flower. That's what's happening with so many young men, and they don't know why. And so somebody has to tell them the truth, that being a godly man doesn't mean being nice. That's your first lesson. Women are not attracted to nice guys. That's your second lesson. And what I mean by that is, if you think by bowing down and worshiping a woman, which is typically what happens in our dating process, you buy the woman food, you take her to where she want to go, you buy her flowers, you tell her how beautiful she is, you don't disagree with anything she says, you listen to her during dinner on her whole gobbledygook, and while she's spreading and talking all this nonsense about what makeup she uses or where she goes and how she get her nails done, you're supposed to say, that's so interesting. It's straight up woman worship. And then you wonder why she put you in the friend zone. She put you in the friend zone. She's not looking for a man to worship her. Even a Christian woman is not looking for that type of man. She's looking for a man who will respect and follow God more than he follows her. A man who will look to her and say, no, we're not doing that. Nope. We're not going that direction. I don't care what you have to say. No. You may feel strongly of this direction. Nope, I disagree. No, we're not going that direction. I like you. I love you, but nope. They look for that. No one's going to tell you this because a woman does not like to hear that, but she needs to hear it. And she wants it. She desires those boundaries. She desires somebody because she know, look, women be knowing that they get out of control. Women know that the emotions take control of them sometimes. They need somebody to regulate them. If you ever been in a relationship with a woman, you know she will come to you and she wants reassurance that things will be okay. If you following her and catering everything to her abstract, all over the place feelings, how can you reassure her that everything's going to be okay when she knows she can't even trust her feelings? You trusting them? Good luck. So what women typically want is they want a strong male leader. They want somebody who can provide for them. Let's not skip over that either. If you're broke and you're living with your mom and dad and you don't have any sense of making yourself better, providing for a wife, don't expect to be married. Don't expect to be married if you have no way of providing for a wife and a family, and you know that typically Christian women out there want a family. That don't mean you got to be rich. You can be a carpenter. You can work on cars. You can do whatever it takes that you can build a family together. I do believe that nowadays women are far too materialistic and we live far above our means. So I'm not saying that you can't be a carpenter or a firefighter or something along those lines, or be an HVAC worker and provide for a family. You absolutely can. And you should encourage your wife to live within the means that you have. You don't always have to live extravagantly. You don't have to go on trips to Paris. That stuff is nonsense. You don't have to take multiple vacations a year. You might not even take a vacation, but you take care of your home. I'm not saying you got to live extravagantly, but you do have to be able to provide for your wife and your children. Here's another thing. Other than being disagreeable, being able to provide. When the Bible says put her needs before your own, that doesn't mean, so many Christians get confused by this. That doesn't mean that you bow down to her needs. That means you actually know what's better for her sometimes than she does. She may say, we absolutely need to spend $1,000 on decorations. And you will say, no. And then she'll say, why? I thought you loved me. And you say, I do love you. And that's why I got to make this decision so that we as a family can achieve the goals and go the direction God will want us to be in. So in that instance, you are loving her, but you're still saying no. You have to learn to be disagreeable, but still do it in love. You got to learn also that women are not majestic creatures. They have desires just like we do. They like men for looks just like men like women for looks. Learn what makes your wife attracted to you. Learn how to dress nice. Learn how to smell nice. Learn how to carry yourself. Learn how to talk with some charisma. I get sick of seeing loser men that say, I want to be a loser and God's just going to bring me a woman. No. Get in shape. Work out. Get some muscles. Looks max. Dress nice. God ain't just going to give you, like, for instance, you wouldn't like that for on the other side. A frumpy, ugly woman with a 5 o'clock shadow and hair growing under her arms and saying, God just going to bring me you. God told me you was going to be my husband. You wouldn't like that. She ain't putting in no effort. You got to do something. Stop acting like, oh, she's a Christian, so she'll just accept whatever. No. That's the same attitude that Cain had. I'll just offer up to God whatever and then he's supposed to bless me. No. Do your best. If you can do better, admit you can do better. And as far as when it comes to the overall theme of this section is the Bible verse we're going to go over. Can you pull that up, Mr. Producer? I think I had Bible Gateway. There we go. And if you want to read that for us, you can. Go ahead.
Let me get all set up here for you. Move you up here.
Yay.
Here we go. So this is from 1 Corinthians 7, verses 3 through 5. The husband should give to his wife her conjugal rights, and likewise the wife to her husband. For the wife does not have authority over her own body, but the husband does. Likewise, the husband does not have authority over his own body, but the wife does. Do not deprive one another, except perhaps by agreement for a limited time, that you may devote yourselves to prayer. But then come together again, so that Satan may not tempt you because of your lack of self-control.
This is absolutely true, and it's the word of God. It says, do not deprive one another, except for small periods of time. So that what? So that Satan won't tempt you. So when women say, yeah, I never feel connected to my husband, but he shouldn't use, I don't want to use the word, he shouldn't use pornography. He shouldn't be out there lusting after other women. No, he shouldn't. But the Bible says it right here. Don't deny him so he won't fall into temptation. It does alleviate temptation to have a wife. So for women who play like, oh, well, a man shouldn't desire it, and he should just worship God and be satisfied with me saying no. That's not what the Bible says. The Bible says you should not deny him. And he should not deny her. Each one belongs to the other. So what we really learning that the Bible really breaks down is the selfishness that we have as men. There's no justification for it. The selfishness that women have as women. There's no justification for it. Each one should confess their sins before the Lord and strive to do better. Now, I think we got a video from one of our friends here, a friend of the channel, who wanted to speak on this subject.
Yes, friend in the loosest of terms.
Yeah. So we'll get, I think Mortimer had something to say.
He's been begging me to get him on
He's been
here.
begging to be on the show. He tried to act
Yeah,
like he don't want to be on
yeah,
here.
yeah.
Every time I talk to him, he act like he hate us, but then he always got something to say. So.
Always got something to say.
Oh, it went on to
Let
one.
me explain
something to y'all.
You got
This is the problem with Christianity today. Y'all got a one-whole mindset.
We'll just try that again, folks.
And that's why I'm a
You can rewind.
Yeah, I just don't want. Yeah, I'm just trying to put Mortimus away there. Here we go. Let's just play Mortimus right now. Okay, here we go. And there's Mortimus coming up. See, we build them all up and we can't get them on.
Let me explain something to y'all. This is the problem with Christianity today. Y'all got a one-whole mindset. And that's why I'm a Hebrew Israelite. Not because they say the truth or anything. I know they stupid. And I know they lying. But they allow me to have up to 10... Oh, Sharita don't want to bust it down for a real nigga. Well, Tina and Bertha will. And when they drunk off that Hennessy, they might even do it together. My mama gonna ask me if I and my baby mama had twins. No, ho, I just got two big pregnant at the same time. Just another day for a real player in these streets. Only thing I ask y'all to do is put some money on my books and bring my son to come see me when I was locked up. That ain't too much to ask. Talking about do the time, don't let the time do you. You the one that got me locked up in here, Sharita. I told you to tell the judge it was a mistake. You couldn't even write a mother. Now one stinking letter. Now the judge talk about I'm intimidating the victims because I brought up guns and knives on the jail phone. A nigga can't be proud of what he got no more.
All right. Well, thank
Let
you.
me
Oh,
explain something
yeah,
to y'all.
I had to hit the bleep button a few times with him.
Well, you know how he gets.
He gets that way, I know.
He's not a Christian. I think he's been dabbling in the Hebrew Israelites.
That's what he said. Yeah.
You can't expect them to have any sense.
No, not at all.
They can't even read really properly, so you know how.
Nope.
You know how they get.
Yeah, they once called me the white Satan, so
Yeah.
you know, whatever.
And Mortimer, I don't even know if he's black. Who even knows? He doesn't.
He doesn't even know.
So for the next topic, there is a Hillary Clinton video that my friend sent to me. If you out there, you know who you are. If you watching, he sent me this video and it perfectly fit with our next section of what we'll be discussing. But I want to play it and have you hear it. And just, if you hear these words, I want you to share your initial thoughts in the comment section, because what's going on with ICE in these major cities they got sent to, think about what Hillary Clinton said and what they hate Donald Trump for today. Can you play that video for us?
I think we got to have tough conditions. Tell people to come out of the shadows. If they've committed a crime, deport them. No questions asked. They're gone. If they've been working and are law-abiding, we should say, here are the conditions for you staying. You have to pay a stiff fine because you came here illegally. You have to pay back taxes. And you have to try to learn English. And you have to wait in line.
What's going to happen is you are going to pay a significant fine. You are going to learn English. You are going to go to the back of the line so that you don't get ahead of somebody who was in Mexico City applying legally. I think the American people, they appreciate and believe in immigration. But they can't have a situation where you just have 500,000 people pouring over the border without any kind of mechanism to control it.
We all in this body, and I know I can speak very firmly for the Democrats, support strong border control. And it must be part, and the first part, of any comprehensive immigration reform.
Illegal immigration is wrong, plain and simple. Until the American people are convinced that we will stop future flows of illegal immigration, we will make no progress in dealing with the millions of illegal immigrants who are here now and on rationalizing our system of legal immigration.
Look at that. Now, here's the question I want you to think about. Where was the outrage back then? If they had these extreme right-wing views, people shouldn't just be able to come in the country illegally.
Did you hear that applause when Hillary talked?
Yeah, like, these are the same. This shows how hypocritical the Democrat Party actually is. They're sitting over here as we speak, fighting with ICE on every front. We're going to show you videos of this. Now, why is it they wasn't doing this 10 years ago? Why is it when Obama was in charge and he deported more people than every other president? Why is it they didn't have this vitriol towards him? Why was he not labeled a racist? Why wasn't he? Why didn't they come in before the ICE agents then? Why didn't they fight with them in the streets then? Because these people, they do what the Democrats tell them to do. They're sheep. They don't think for themselves. They get paid by people like George Soros. They're funded by Democrat platforms, people in the background, and they don't even think enough to say, hey, Obama agreed with Trump, what Trump is doing right now. Hillary Clinton agreed with what Trump is doing right now. Nancy Pelosi agreed with what Trump is doing right now. But since it's Trump, it's different now. We gotta go and act a fool in the streets. And here's another thing. They not getting the smartest. They're not getting the toughest. They're not getting the bravest people. They're getting the cowards. These liberal coward Antifa kooks get in the streets, act a fool, and then cry when they have to be held responsible. Let's look at these clowns.
Here we go.
Yeah, show me that first.
This one here?
Let's just analyze
All
this
right.
goofball,
Here we
this rascal.
Here we go.
So there he is being taken away. You know what? Pause that, Mr. Producer. What does the caption say up there?
LMFAO, an Antifa militant who dumped red paint on the ICE facility here in Portland last night, was just arrested after he returned tonight. And he was caught visibly shaking like a little girl while in custody.
Like a little girl.
Visibly shaking like a little girl.
He was brave enough to throw that paint, though, wasn't he? Let's play the rest of the video. Let's see what this clown looking like. Let's call it shaking baby syndrome. Look at him. Look at this clown right here. He was so brave a second ago. Now he's shaking in a fetal position.
Look at that.
Curled up in a chair, begging for his mommy sucking his thumb. Look at this lame. All of a sudden, he ain't so brave no more. Now that the Democrats is done with you, they got you to do the dumb stuff. Now, you're sitting up there arrested and you might get federal charges. I hope they throw the book at him. I hope he get in there and be somebody's you-know-what. And then that he in the cell along with Tyrone for the rest of his days. Little clown, and this is what I hate about these clowns. They think they're going down as heroes by throwing paint and acting a fool in front of an ICE facility and blocking it with cars and throwing eggs and milkshaking people. They're so brave. They're heroes. They're freedom fighters. They're fighting fascism. And then you get them behind closed doors and they crying and shaking. Breathe, stretch, shake, let it go. Look at these clowns. Look how they act. They so soft, man. I can't stand the soft dude like that, crying and shaking like that. Let's look at how they train. This is how they're preparing for ICE. Let's look at these rigid performance
I bet you didn't know that we have a queer fight club right here
standards
in Oklahoma City.
they have.
And I bet you also didn't know that we're about to celebrate one
Look
full
at
year
these
of this
children
very
of God.
successful community self-defense program.
Can barely
Now,
throw a
some
punch.
members thought
Look.
we should do a Jean-Claude Van
What
Damme
that punch
Kumite
for?
style
Jean-Claude,
type of
that's-
event, but that didn't quite make it out of
What?
plan. I bet you didn't know that we have a queer fight club right here in Oklahoma City.
Oh
And
my
I bet you
gosh,
also didn't
my
know
children
that
can
we're about to
punch hard.
celebrate
Faster
one full year
and
of this
stronger
very
than that.
successful
Queer fight
community
club?
self-defense program.
Okay.
Now, some members thought we should do a Jean-Claude Van Damme
They ain't
Kumite style
stopping nothing
type of
with them
event,
punches.
but that didn't quite make it out of plan.
They be better off going. That's what they look like they need to do. They not stopping nothing. Are you serious? And the funniest part is they get together to train like this. They think they're fighting. They think they soldiers on the ground. They legitimately think they gonna stop somebody. Let's look at the next video with the young lady, because this one went viral as well.
This is the line that they created.
She got sprayed. Now here's the story to this. They had told her several times, move back, move back. These people were blocking cars, blocking entrances to ICE facilities, refusing to get out the streets, trying to stop people from going in and out of the facility. And when an officer tells you to move back, and you don't move back, you're disobeying a lawful order. You are resisting. You're obstructing. So don't sit up here and act like people. I've seen people, liberals online. She didn't do anything. They couldn't even handle a woman talking. Talk over there. Talk away from me. Talk away from the officers. Talk away from the ICE agents. You don't get to obstruct officers and then sit there and be like, I was just talking. Well, now it's time to shut up. See how well you talk with a face full of bear mace. So let's play the next one because it shows how she dealt with being sprayed. Look at this goof. Not so tough no more. She padding. Oh my gosh.
I can't breathe.
It's all over my face.
I can't actually breathe. I can't get lit into my lungs.
These videos bring me so much joy. Look, I can't take it.
I can't get air. I can't get air.
You was tough a second ago. Woman, hear me roar. Look, they pouring stuff in her eyes. It ain't gonna help. A second ago, you was a freedom fighter. You was a freedom fighter. Now look at you. Look.
I can't breathe. Help, please. I can't breathe. You bitch. I can't breathe. Please help.
Fascism burns. It's burning me. They trying to help her, but here's the thing. You was tough a second ago. And you thought you was going to come up against grown men with weapons and mace, OC, whatever you want to call it. And you really thought you was doing something. Now look at you. Can't even deal with the basics. Can't even deal with basic speed. Come on, man. You're not that tough.
I said give him space. Back the fuck up. Hey.
And all these simps around her trying to help her out. Get out of here. Probably the first woman they've seen in months from being in their mother's basement. And they trying to overhelp her and spray her down. She don't care. She's not going to sleep with you, dude.
There's some woman she's in a Lilo and Stitch costume or something. Yeah, right there. What?
Right.
What's up with that?
I don't know. They make a game of it.
And that was an umbrella? What?
Those umbrellas they use so that when the spray
okay.
Comes out, they can try to block it. Nope. She didn't have an umbrella.
Multiple bandanas. All right.
And these clowns always cover their face.
Yep.
They're so brave, but they can't be seen. So here's the other thing. If you're gonna fight, be prepared for what comes with it. You can't cry. So many people on the internet I've seen. So I should have grabbed the comments. The liberals are crying online saying, "This is unlawful. You can't spray her like that. This is an overuse of force. She didn't do anything wrong. Spray her again." My sympathy has been used up. These are the same people that laughed at Charlie Kirk. These are the same people that were angry that the assassin missed Trump. These are the same people that laughed when the flood happened at a Christian camp and the little girls died. These are the same people that laughed when the killer went into the school and shot up the Christian school. My sympathy for these people has been used up. I don't care. I wish the police, ICE agents, federal agents would have done 10 times more. These people have no remorse for how they act. They cry when they get the slightest bit of pushback. I'm tired of conservatives treating them with kid gloves. I'm tired of people feeling sorry for them. And I'm tired Mainly that men are not taking the war to them like they want to do to us. If you come for a fight, we should give it to you. And I'm talking about as a country. They want to block agents. They want to block soldiers. They want to block police officers. They want to block federal employees from getting to work. Let's start charging these people like they did the J6ers. Remember how they did them? People who weren't even there got charged. I think Trump should do the same for anybody who comes to one of these things and tries to stop federal agents and ICE agents from doing their job. Charge them with the same veracity they did to us. Stupid people will be like, well, you can't, you got an eye for an eye means everybody will be blind. So what? So what? Everybody's blind already. Now it's just in the strongest man will survive. They play these games because they know we aren't as evil as them. It's about time to fight fire with fire on the conservative side, on the Republican side. Stop feeling sorry for these clowns. Stop saying, oh, that's enough. No, it's not enough. These people are evil and they will not stop. What's the next video of this man? I think we have one. Oh, is that? Oh, we don't have the other one. Well, it's another one that I had that I'll bring up on another show where, no, it's fine. It's another, I'll explain it. Where a man did something despicable, and this is a pet peeve of mine. I don't even know if it's a pet peeve. I need a stronger word. I hate when people spit. One of the reasons why I hate it so much is because it's completely unnecessary and it's just a disgusting thing to do. There's a necessary, you can say, I punched this guy in self-defense. You can never say, I spit on somebody in self-defense. It's just a nasty thing to do, and it's something you do when you think somebody is less than human. I saw a video where a man spit on an ICE agent. And they grabbed him and slammed his head down into the ground. And I wish they would have slammed him harder. That's a despicable thing to do. I hope he got charged with a federal crime for that. I hope he did. Because that would just be just. And then maybe he can spit on somebody's sausage in prison. Because here's the problem with these clowns. They do this stuff because they know they can get away with it. And they don't believe there'll be any consequences. Well, right now, we're seeing that these people are getting the first consequences they've ever had in their life. And I love watching these videos. I fall asleep to videos like this. They give me much joy when I see somebody's head bounce against the ground for spitting on an agent. You deserve everything you get with that. So, I think Mortimus wants to speak on this issue as well.
Yeah, we'll have to.
He has a lot to say about like law enforcement and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't really do well with any form of.
Oh, here he is now. I have to stop him here, but no.
Don't have that right. Even a Christian can see that them polices wasn't right. All them people trying to do is stand up for refugees. Oh, now that you live in an evil capitalist country that hoarded all the wealth, you want to pull up the ladder and close the door. You selfish bitch. Anyone should be able to go and live where they please. Who is you to tell them they can't come over here when you own stolen land? You own stolen land. You can't tell another human being they don't have the right to live where they wanna. I go where I want all the time. And ain't nobody gonna stop me. Sarita father was talking crazy yesterday, talking about what you doing up in here. How did you get in here? Who told you you could come back? I told you you couldn't come back. I'm calling the police. Nobody can have the right to tell me anything when they speaking on
Pray for
stolen land.
Mortimus.
So next thing I know, I heard yelling over the loudspeaker. Come out with your hands up. You got warrants. How you gonna talk to me about alleged armed robbery I may or may not have done when you living on stolen land? You talking to me from stolen land. They didn't have to use that much force. The police nigga they sent couldn't wait to put his hands on me, talking about stop resisting, stop resisting. I can't breathe, nigga. Your knee all up in my back. You had to call them people. I'ma get you for this, Nathan.
Well,
Glad we have him on a slight delay. Boy.
you know, you can't trust anything he has to say. He's Mortimus. Pray for Mortimus. You got to pray for those, you know, the Bible says love your enemies. I'm getting there. I've known him for a long time. I prayed for him.
Yeah,
He just rejects anything that has to do with God or any type of common sense. He loves foolishness. That's all I can say about him. There's really no hope. With that being said, let's talk about a man's worst nightmare. Have you ever thought about, as a man, coming home from a hard day's work? You worked a 10-hour shift. You come back home. Your wife is pregnant. Your 2-year-old comes, hugs you around the legs. Daddy, we happy to see you. You lay down on the couch. Not lay down. You probably sit. You're not that tired because you're not a wuss. You sit. You look at your phone and you scroll through. And then you get a message. And the message says, "Hey man, is this your wife?" And you open the message. And it's a picture of your wife twerking her bum on a famous influencer. And you take it to your wife and you say, "Look, what is this? Is this you?" And she say, "Yeah, but it was before we were married. I was a different person back then." And you keep watching the video and she's getting loose. She just twerking that thing. And he's slapping her in the cheeks. And she says, "Yeah, I was a party animal back then, but I'm a different person now." And a little bit of that man will die inside. There is this new phenomenon, a new trend online where women are getting online and they're posting pictures of what they did in the past, and then they're posting a picture with their new hubby and saying, "I used to be a party animal. I was so wild back then." And then a picture with the husband and the kids in the nice house. And the man has no clue that his wife was slutting it out with all these famous influencers on yachts.
You mean kind of like this?
Yeah, kind of like that. Let's go to the first picture real quick.
Okay. So,
My goodness.
So this was the first one.
This is somebody's wife. And the reason why this went viral is because the wife was bragging that she used to sleep with and be in parties with and be grabbed on and groped on by Dan, what is his name? Blazarian?
I think
Blazarian.
that looks right. Yeah.
A famous influencer guy who's known to be this international playboy, multi-millionaire, on yachts, always surrounded by beautiful women. And these women are bragging, "Yeah, I used to be one of his women. I used to be one of his hoes." Now let's read some of these comments. Mr. Producer, if you want to read some.
Yeah, sure. Let's see here. If you're thinking about getting married, Just remember, one vagina for the rest of your life. Not smart. Next one says, I feel sorry for you. One below says, I feel sorry for her husband.
Ugh.
And then one says, I feel sorry for you. I mean, all these.
All of them are pretty much the same.
Yeah,
sentence.
pretty much the same sentiment.
It's
Yeah.
men looking and saying, "Oh my gosh, we feel sorry for her husband because he probably didn't have any idea that she was out there doing this kind of goofy stuff." And then go to the next picture. Here's what she's portraying to people now. She's so happily married.
So it says, baby's first beach day. She hated the sand, but enjoyed watching the waves. Happy family. You guys are so adorbs. Pretty and so cute. Lovely family.
Here's my problem with this. Because you would say, are you against women changing for the better? I'm against women not changing at all. And then taking advantage of a man and making him the fall guy for their bad decisions. That's what I'm against. If you repent and change and come to God, I could even congratulate you on that. But what I've seen is too much of a trend of women who come from being party animals, OF people, straight up whores, straight up women of the streets, and then always saying, well, a man will save me. A man will come along. I don't have to take any responsibility. I don't have to change my personality. I'm just going to let all that stuff go and hide it in the past. And then later on, a man will save me. I have a good marriage. And I encourage other women to do the same. I'll go sow my wild oats, slut it around, go to frat parties, sleep with as many men as possible. And then a man will rescue me when I get to my 30s. And here's the sad part. If you're attractive enough, you probably can do that because society is so backwards now. You probably can get away with doing that if you're attractive enough. You can try to hide your past, get with a man, not change anything about your character, not better yourself in any way, not turn your life towards God, just get a man to sweep away all your problems. And then take pictures on the beach as if nothing happened. The sad part about it is sometimes your past will come back to haunt you, ladies. People will find you and say, wasn't you one twerking on Andrew Tate? Wasn't you one having your cheeks grabbed by Dan Bilzerian? Wasn't you the one in the thong dancing in the music video? And they'll say, well, that was my old life. Did you repent of that? Because the internet is forever. And when men find that out, you don't have any right to tell a man he should not be repulsed by that. You have no right to tell your husband, that was the old me, but I didn't tell you because I thought you'd be scared and leave. You don't have that right to hide that from him. If you was whoring it up in the streets, you need to ask God forgiveness for that. You need to be open with your husband about that. You need to stop expecting a man to come save you. Sometimes you get your lot in life. If you were a man, let's put it the other way around. If you were a man and you were involved in gay pornography, and then you get with a woman and she finds out that you used to be doing that, and she says, that's just too much for me. I don't want to be involved with a dude who was diddling around and having, bananas up the bum from other men. Being a sausage swallowing factory. You don't want a man like that to be in your life with that back history, with that backstory. She would not be wrong. She would not be wrong in saying, I don't want a man with that history. Even though you changed, even though you're a Christian now, even though you repented from that, that's just too much for me. She would not be wrong. In the same way, that's the equivalent of how a man feels when he finds out that his wife was passed around like a garden tool. She was a town bicycle, and then he's supposed to treat her special. It disgusts him that people treated what you hold as precious as a piece of meat to be passed around for one night, and you're supposed to dedicate your life to that. This is why modesty is so important to women. Men, we treasure a woman that is modest. We don't want to wake up one day and get a message, is this your wife? That is a nightmare. Absolute nightmare. Let's look at exhibit number 2. So you have these two happily married. Let's read some of the comments here.
Let's see here. God knew I needed a strong, fearless, steadfast man.
Oh.
He gave me a love story so much greater than I ever imagined for myself. I'm so blessed to call you my husband. This is from 11/19 of 22.
Wow.
Comment below says, doesn't hurt that he's rich as F either, I'm sure. Congrats. Blessings. Here's another one. Congratulations. We are sure this will be a magical year for you both. Another one says, miss see you on TV and working alongside, but so happy for this new chapter in your life. Congratulations, beautiful bride.
Here's the thing, before we go to that next picture. This is what men find so disgusting. Nobody is coming to rescue the young man. If he has a bad past, whether it be criminal, whether he's a loser, whether he just did something extremely embarrassing online and got called out for it, no one is coming to rescue him. But what men get angry at is a lot of these women will live a life where they got all the benefits from being a whore, all the benefits from living as a loose woman, and then they turn around and because they had the slightest bit of attraction, they think their past doesn't matter and that a man should just pick up and rescue them, and that it's God's will for him to do so. It's a disgusting way to look at life because it's like they jump on the mercy, the grace, and the forgiveness of the Bible. But then they don't talk anything about accountability or consequences or the fact that you can't have it all in life. Life does not work where you just constantly make bad decisions and somebody comes over behind you to sweep up that mess. So let's go to the next picture, the picture she has, because this is her too. So there, I don't know which one.
Look at this.
But she's one of the girls in the party with Dan Blazarian again. And her husband is supposed to be happy with his leftovers.
This first comment is, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country.
Yeah. What are some of the other comments?
Oh, some of them are in Arabic, so I can't read those.
Oh, okay.
One says, I love your life. Wow.
Here's the thing. A lot of these women have been taught that you can have it all. That you can go and live the party lifestyle, and then when you choose to settle down and get married, it won't follow you. No, I guarantee you, if her husband was to see all the nasty things she was involved in on some of these parties, he might even divorce her. Because you portrayed yourself as a virtuous woman when you had no virtue. Now, maybe you guys did have a conversation. Maybe you did sit down and say with him, hey, you know what? I used to live a party lifestyle, and I used to be on boats with Dan Blazarian, and I used to get banged by a bunch of famous dudes, because we know what goes on these boat parties. Let's not play. You can look it up on now YouTube, what happens on boat parties. And even if you weren't one of the girls that was down to do whatever, you was with or friends with some of them that did, and you can't be trusted. Let's just be honest. Even if you weren't. So the reality is, a lot of men are getting angry at the dating market because they see that women are not being held accountable. And this is why I really feel sorry for a lot of these men. Because imagine getting married and then finding out your girlfriend had an OF page 4 years ago. And some dude comes up to you and be like, hey man, I saw you sitting down with that girl. And you'll be like, oh, that's my wife. Oh, man, I didn't know. You're married to an OF star. And you not know? You didn't have any idea? That will be a nightmare. That people are sharing your wife's images. That people are doing all types of crazy, lewd behavior to your wife. And she made that available. It's a nightmare. So I think that what we can do as Christian men, stop being so generous. Stop being so merciful with everything. Stop extending grace when it's not warranted. For instance, if you are vetting a woman and she had an OF, you are under no obligation to have to date that woman. If a woman was in an adult film, you are under no obligation to have to spend your time, money, and resources to be with that woman. You can say, oh, well, that's not for me. Nothing wrong with that. If a woman comes to your church and you like her and you get to know her, and then you find out she has a body count of 14 or a body count of 50, or even that she slept with one of your friends in the past, you do not have to be okay with that. You can be okay with it. You can extend grace, and that's your business. You can totally say, you know what, I'm willing to look past that, and she asked me for forgiveness, and that's fine. She used to live a crazy lifestyle. She turned her life to God. You could say that. But the thing that angers me is that a lot of Christian men are being pushed that the only response they should have is one of forgiveness. The only response they should have is one of looking past bad behavior. No, the best indicator of what people will do in the future is what they've done in the past. And it's really bad and a really bad look, a really bad decision to make a woman like that, the mother of your children, without vetting her properly. And I'll say this, and I say it with all, I believe this 100%. You as a man, you have a right to disqualify a woman if you see flaws in her character. You have a right to say, these things disqualify you from being with me, from being my wife, from being the mother of my children. You have a right to say that. Don't let anybody tell you differently. Men need to be stronger on their convictions. Here's another thing men are not used to saying. There is this idea that women are always above the man, that you should be so lucky to have her. No. There's a time where you have to go back and say, I am a good man. I am qualified to be married. I am strong. I am good looking. I am handsome. I go out and I get what I want. I have charisma. I'm worth something. You don't always have to look at yourself as being a piece of trash. Women either, but nowadays women don't have any problem doing that because they just put a picture on Instagram and 1,000 people come out of the woodwork and tell them how beautiful they are. But I'm telling you as a man, you are worth something. You can set a standard. You can have a standard for your wife after you married. There's nothing wrong with that. Once you have that standard, it's okay for you to say, these are my standards, and I do not allow anybody who does not qualify to be around me. I'm not talking about be around you as a friend. I'm talking about dating and romantically. I'm not going to entertain a woman who has had an OnlyFans. I'm not going to be with a single mother of 3. That's a standard I have, and I'm not going to give in. If you do want to give in to that and you want to be a stepfather, that's commendable. But don't push that on every other Christian man that we just got to pick up the slack and accept whatever is thrown at us because you just ain't worth nothing and you should be lucky to have a woman anyway. No. If you built yourself up and you're a strong man and you're a strong man of God and you have standards, it's nothing wrong with saying, I have built myself up. I work hard to be who I am. I have godly standards, and I'm not going to let somebody just come in and do whatever they want in my life. It's nothing wrong with that. In the next section, it kind of goes into this because actually, you know what? We were gonna watch the Dan Bilzerian, who he actually is.
Yeah.
We can go through some of that.
Okay.
This is who this guy is, and
But this 31,000
This
square foot
party animal
behemoth in
here.
Bel Air is one of the most outrageous homes I've ever been invited to see.
I've seen at least 6
Yes,
videos.
that's a 12-foot
Oh, look at that waterfall there.
cascading
I know.
into
This
the
is his
infinity
house.
and a giant
Now
outdoor
Now you see
gym.
why all these women are flocking.
This is the home of the infamous Instagrammer Dan Bilzerian.
Here's the thing. It's
To
a
his
trend now
27 million
for women on
followers, he's known
TikTok.
as the king of Instagram.
See all those
He
women?
started his account
Yeah.
in the early days of the platform.
It's a trend now
portraying
for
a
women on
raunchier and
TikTok are
more
saying,
over-the-top lifestyle
I'm a
than
mother
you
now,
have.
but this is who I used to
And
be,
that
and then
made
show a
him
video with them for
very
Dan
popular.
Bilzerian.
He reportedly paid a mind-boggling $65
$65
million.
million?
to this
65
mega
million.
mansion. And he invited me over to check it out.
So he's
I'm
probably
dying to
slept
see
with
this place and
hundreds,
find
if
out
not
how a guy
thousands
who
of
appears
women.
to party for a living can
And
afford
what
it all.
man wants to come
Dan,
home
how
and
are
know
you?
that
Good. How you doing?
his
This house
wife
is a
has been
joke, man. It's
dogged
too
out
big.
by this guy?
It's ridiculous.
That was what we were shooting for.
What is that?
Done
gonna
by
ask,
a
what
famous
is that?
glass blower. He does like smokable
That's a
art.
nice
It's
house.
covered in goat heads, designed to look like the logo of his cannabis company.
Why don't you show me this house?
Cool, man. Movie theater.
Them shorts is a little bit too
There's a
short for
bowling
me.
alley here. You
He
never
has
know
a
what you're gonna
bowling
get
alley in
today.
his
Bowling
house.
and heels.
He's always got
Oh.
women around him.
Look at that.
There it is.
It's just another day in Dan's house, right?
Yeah.
In fact,
Next to
one of his things
two-lane
that's going
bowling
viral is
alley
people
is
didn't really
Dan's
know what he
9-car
did.
garage. His
And
$2 million
they would just
vintage
see
Shelby
him
Cobra
$2
is on
million
display,
Cobra, holy
spinning like a
cow.
work of art.
They would just
Now
see
we
him
head
with a bunch
upstairs
of
to
women
check
all
out
the
the
time.
rest of the house.
All right, Dan, what do we have here?
Got a
Well, who
dining
wants to
room,
be
got
the
some
dude who
living
comes
room.
after this?
Why would anybody need 2 dining rooms?
There's actually 3. That's the one I know.
There's actually 3 dining rooms.
And then this is more like a big group, and then you got the formal deal there.
Wow.
How many bars?
Got 7 bars.
And he uses all of them. This crazy chicken had 3,000
So he's a
people at his
party
last
guy.
party.
You know, this is where
This is
the
what he does.
DJs or performers set up.
He's a
Who's the
playboy.
biggest performer you've ever had in here?
Cardi B, Tyga, Marshmallow. Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, if you're gonna spend $1 million on a party and somebody blows up the sofa, who cares?
Yeah, negligible.
Anyways, we don't have to play the
Can you
whole
write
video,
any of this
but
off? Because it's really
that pretty much
promoting
gives
your
you a
brand
gist
and your
of
lifestyle.
all the women who are going viral right now for being one of his girls. It's kind of disgusting when you think about it that you know as well as I do, if they could lock him down, they would have. But now you got to go around as a husband knowing that you're their second choice. And you got to be satisfied with that. And women and feminists will tell you, so what? You should be lucky she choose you at all. What man wants to live in the shadow of that? What man wants to go home knowing that if Dan Bilzerian said, yes, I will marry you, your wife would get up and leave you in an instant? No one wants to live like that. This is why women, you need to be modest, chaste, and honestly, we need to go back to how things used to be, where their father had way more involvement in what his daughter did. I would probably cry if I found out my daughter was going on yacht parties, ruining her character for some multimillionaire who doesn't give a crap about her, who has plenty of women who look just like her that he could cycle through any night of the week. And then, after getting done and being ran through by him, pictures on the internet surface after she gets married. Disgusting. I would hate that. So, let's talk about this video that I thought was very telling as to all the things we talk about here. And then I'm going to ask you afterwards, after we play the video, Mr. Producer, I'm going to ask you what you think about this whole scenario.
Okay.
You can play it.
Here we go.
I told him not to get the pink bag.
It's what he wants to have.
I don't care what he wants to have. You should have gotten the football bag like I told you.
It's his first day of school. It's his choice of backpack.
He's going to get bullied.
He's not going to get bullied. He's 4 years old.
You know how mean 4-year-old people are these days, right? He's going to get bullied. And you know what? You're going to have to deal with it. I told you not to get that bag for him.
He can have whatever he wants. We need to encourage him.
No,
to
he
do
can
so.
have the football bag, because that's what I'm going to get him. You need to take that back, and we'll get the football bag for him.
He's picked this bag. He's going to have this bag. He's his own person.
He's 40 years old, he doesn't know what he wants. He's having the football bag. He's not having the pink bag. I don't care what we say, I don't care what he says. He's not having that bag, alright? And if he gets bullied, it's your fault. I'm not dealing with
Is
any
that
of these
video
teachers.
turned up all the way?
You deal with it, alright? I'm not backing up. I'm going.
So yeah, summarize that in case it was too low for anybody to hear.
So the mother let the son pick out a pink backpack to go to take to school, and the husband said, "Oh no!" So this is it sounds like it's in England, so he's going to have the football bag. So
Of course, it's England.
right? It was just wanted to have a regular bag. And he said, "Do you know how she was saying too, like, well, they're 4-year-olds, but the father or the husband said, do you know how mean 4-year-olds can be? I mean, yeah, a pink backpack."
So she's trying to get her son to wear a pink backpack. And the father is trying to convince her, saying, hey, he's going to get bullied if he wears that. And she says, basically, I don't care. He likes it. These are the colors he likes. I'm going to let him wear this pink backpack to school. Here's what people don't want to hear, but I'm going to say it anyway because this is what needs to be done. This is the perfect example of telling your woman to shut up. And I don't care what you think. He's not doing it. Now, you first try to talk about in love. And I'm going to tell you why I will be so harsh on that. First, I will tell my wife, and I will say something along the lines of, no, that's not how we do things in this house. I'm not going to have my son dressing like a girl. I would even go into detail. If she still didn't get it, I might go into detail about how it's satanic agenda to try to get little boys to dress up like little girls. If she still didn't want to listen to my leadership at that point, and she kept pushing it and making a video on the internet talking about what she's going to do, I'd shut that video off. I'd grab that camera, I'd shut it off, and I tell her, hey, listen, take a seat. This is going to be a talk. My son not doing that. I don't care what you say. I don't care what you think. I'm not having my son dressed like a little girl. Oh, and guess what's going to happen next? In today's day and age, you'll be called abusive. They might even call the police on you. You need to accept that. There are some things worth dying for. This is one. One is being the man of your house. Second is raising your children up in a godly environment. If your wife is so out of line that she wants your kid to dress up like a little girl, first of all, why did you not vet her and see that she was mentally insane before you married her? As a Christian man, if we're just assuming that you're a Christian right now. Secondly, if, say, she just randomly flips out and she has this super liberal ideology out of nowhere, I would do some diligent look into where that came from, who was her friends, who's convincing her to be such a different person than she was when I married her. And then it comes down to just learning to say no. As a man and leader of your house, too many men are worried about, well, what if this happens? And what if she divorces it and takes half the house? Leave with your dignity then. I'm telling you, over my dead body, will anybody come and dress my son like a little girl? No, but you're going to have to kill me first. Including my wife. And some people think that's extreme. No. This is why we've gotten this far. This is why people don't know. I don't know how things got this crazy. Because y'all didn't take a stand in your own home. These cowardly men will sit up and do what this man did. Try to discuss it for the internet to see. As if people on the internet got some sense. As if they gonna tell you what to do, what's right in your own home. I'm telling you right now, I would have grabbed that phone, turned it off and say, listen, I'd rather you take him away and us go through a dang divorce, then you sit up in my home and tell me my son is going to dress like a girl under my roof, under my guidance, under my power. If you want to take him outside of that, then go do what you want to do. But in my house, we will serve the Lord. I'm not going to sit over here and let that happen. Too many men, well, there's nothing I can do. You better do everything you can do to not let that satanic agenda in your home. It's just a backpack. It's just a dress. It's just some lipstick. It's just some nails. It's just him dancing at a gay parade at the age of 12. It's just, It's just you were not a man. That's all it's just. It makes me so mad. Christian men don't want to stand up because, oh, it's not that bad yet, because you don't even know that you're falling down a slippery slope because you're going slow. You let your wife dictate everything in the household and you're a coward. That's why the world is the way it is. It won't happen in my house. And here's the problem with these dudes. They think it's cute. They think this stuff is cute. Their wife think it's cute, but they think it's cute as well, because why would you even let her set up a camera and talk to you about that? This is not a joke. It wouldn't be a joking matter to me that you want my son to dress like a little girl. And here's the other thing. Stop telling, and we as Christians, as a Christian society, stop telling men to not be outraged. Stop telling men to not be angry. Stop telling men that, oh, well, it's time to discuss. It's not time to yell. Shut up. It's you people and you weak, soft, baby Christians who have let the world get this far, where we have just seen a picture of grown men marching naked in the streets in the name of a gay parade in front of children, and ain't no men stopped it. And that happened in the UK. Another story from the UK. 3 men in a polyamorous relationship just adopted a child. What's going to happen to that child behind closed doors? It's going to be their personal sex toy, and y'all know it. But yet, oh, you shouldn't be outraged. You should be a little nicer. You shouldn't talk to your wife like that. You should sit down. Shut up. It's weak men like you that have allowed these things to get that far. And then they come and try to tell men like me not to be so strong, not to be so homophobic. No, you're rigid. Your mindset is you're too on one side. I don't care what you think. You people don't even know the difference between a man and a woman. Why would I take any advice from y'all? And the problem is, we are so busy in the Christian community trying not to be mean, trying to correct our tone, that we don't even know how to stand up for truth anymore. We think any instance of anger is bad, even though there's perfect instances of righteous indignation in the Bible from Jesus himself. Jesus himself showed anger. Elijah made fun of the prophets of Baal. Now the Bible says, don't let the wrath of man does not produce the righteousness of God. So you are not supposed to be wrathful outside of what God is wrathful about. But if you're angry about something that God is angry about, you have free reign to express that anger. You have free reign if your little daughter comes around dressing slutty to say, take that off. You better go upstairs and change now. Don't you ever give me those clothes. We're burning them outside now. That's not wrong. That's not abusive. It's your job to govern your house. Don't let anybody tell you any differently. You see your kid disrespecting his mother. It's nothing wrong with you popping him right in the head. Don't you ever talk like that to your mom, ever in your life. If you got a problem, you can handle it with me. There's nothing wrong with you as a man doing that. But in today's day and age, that's abusive. That's wrong. You're telling people to hit their children. You're telling people that I'm telling you to do what God requires of you in this day and age. And if you aren't willing to take a stand, expect your child, expect your children, expect your family to grow up in rebellion. Your wife, oh, I don't know why she won't listen to me. Are you a man respectable that knows how to say no? If you don't, then shut up. That's why she don't respect you. Have you ever said no? Now then some people are going to go too far with this and say, oh, he's telling us to be tyrants. He's telling us to go home and abuse. No, I'm saying use godly wisdom. And sometimes it is warranted that you be angry. It is warranted that you have the zeal of the Lord. It is warranted that you have passion. Not all the time. You don't come home and just start slapping things and throwing things around. That's a man who's not in control of his emotions. I'm talking about a man who, hey, I tried to tell y'all. I talked to y'all several times. Y'all not listening. Y'all pushing me to this limit. I'm getting angry right now, and I'm not going to let you disobey the rules of this home. It's a stern resolve that a man needs to have. It's not all the time that you snap out, but sometimes you're going to need to show a little bit of anger. Sometimes you're going to need your children to fear you. Sometimes you're going to need to tell your wife, no, and I'm not budging on this, and I said what I said, and I'm done. And if you think that that's not Christian, read the Bible. I think we have another video from our little friend on this topic. He always has something to say on issues like this. When I get riled up, he tends to think that he want to have a little input.
Yep, he's hanging in the shadows again.
Luckily, I know him, so I'll let him say his
little
piece.
be gay.
Uh-oh.
What it mean to you that he be fluttering around the house wearing short shorts? That's his thing. He hurt nobody. Live and let live. That's what the good book say. My gay cousin is super gay, and we love it. Last week he fought it, and some glitter came out. Smelled like lavender and house music. You gotta let these kids be who they are, man. You really do. You gotta let them be who they are. My cousin tried to hide it for so long, we didn't know what he was doing up in that room. We would see 6 to 7 shiny boys just switching their hips all the way up the stairs to his room with buckets of baby oil. We just thought he had really dry skin. Once we found out, he had the nerve to tell me one of them little zesty boys gonna ask, hey, is Mortimer's gonna be at the next party? Don't play with me. What gave you the gall to fix your gay little mouth to even think? But I'm on probation, so I calm myself down and use my anger management tools. The point is, you gotta let them be who they are.
Thank you, Mortimer, for your wisdom, your kind words. How would we ever do the show without you?
Yeah, well, we better maybe might have a little talk with his probation and parole officer, though.
You know what? I've had several. They keep letting him back out of jail.
They seemed, yeah, I don't know what's up with that, but
no matter what, he must have a really good lawyer because he always gets out. He's a multi-time felon. So I don't know how he does it. I think they think he's innocent. You could look at his little beady eyes and tell me that there's no soul there.
There's no innocence there at all.
No,
zero.
He's an evil person. I hate to say it. He's a friend of mine, but he's a very evil person. He needs Jesus for sure.
That he does.
So if you guys like what you've seen on the Righteous Edge podcast, please like, subscribe, share. We need you guys to do that. We've been growing slowly, and I really appreciate it. Everybody who tunes in on the lives, everybody who sees the videos we've been putting out and likes and comments, I can't thank you enough, because that makes it feel like we're a community. We're trying to build a community of men, godly men, not necessarily red pill, not necessarily conservative, but definitely Christian. If you are a Christian with Christian values, that's what we put at the front. Christian first, conservative next. We like some of the red pill philosophies, but we don't take all of that either. Nothing comes above God and his philosophy. If you have comments, please do share. We love to hear them. Share, subscribe on the videos. And then you guys, a lot of things that I discuss, I get them from X. I get them from Twitter. I don't even like calling it X. I get it from Twitter. I get them from TikTok. If you guys want to send me anything or show me any links, please do it on X, because I'm always on there and I really say what I really think on there. So you guys add me on there. And if you guys like what you're seeing, join us next time. We'll be doing multiple shows this week. Some by myself, some with Mr. Producer. So, all right, you guys, if you like that, show us some love, okay? We'll be out. Peace out.